All right, traders, this is the watch list video for Monday, February 24th. Ugly day in the SPY there. That's a nasty candle. You always want to go back and look at previous similar situations, right? This was a nasty candle, and then you want to see what it did afterwards. Really didn't get killed like people were talking about. This is kind of an ugly one, and it was right back up. None of that has to happen again. This could be the beginning of a tank, but I don't always expect it to be, right? And I'm a day trader, so speaking of which, let me throw this up. Those of you in chat, most of you have read this. If you're new in chat, please pause the video and read that. Just basically talks about us being day traders and looking for intraday setups that we teach to make some money between the bells, right? So let's see, just to give you some numbers, the Dow was down 748 and the NASDAQ down 438. So really an ugly day in the market. So that explains why a lot of my watch list are bounce plays, and I guess I should call them potential bounce plays because we'll only trade them if they give a bounce play, intraday bounce play setup, right? All right, so let's go into what we're watching for Monday for some possible trades. CELH, a lot of shorts in this name, so and it gapped up and had pretty good relative strength to the market. Says 22% short, so this one is certainly interesting to watch, especially with the relative strength it had. PONY, speaking of relative strength, relatively new issue, push into all-time highs in a very weak tape. So let's keep that one on watch all week. HLF, which is Herbalife, had the big pop on Thursday, inside day on Friday. Do have that 200-day right there, but this one, again, speaking of relative strength, it had it. DBRG had this big pop on Thursday, kind of a quiet inside day on Friday, and we've also got that potential magnet of a 200-day right there. So that's why I want to keep an eye on that one. We could get a nice trade. IVVD had relative strength on Friday. VKTX, also relative strength. Looks like it's trying to have bottomed. A big volume on Friday, closing off of its highs, but still relative strength. JTAI had this big pop on Wednesday, and then now we've got a couple days lower on declining volume. That's a pretty decent look for a potential turn back up on Monday. Again, only with a proper intraday setup will I trade it. TTD just keeps falling, and it just keeps landing on my bounce play watch list for the next day. I have no trades in it yet since I started watching it. APPS is now down to the 20-day. I mean, had a gap up here on earnings and a really nice run, and now it's come back down and hit the 20-day. Could give a bounce play setup on Monday. WRD is that one that NVIDIA took a stake in and then had the gap up but sold off, another gap up and sold off, and now we've got, what, 4 days in a row down. This right here would have been kind of the breakout level on the daily, even though you have the gap. But if you add pre-market or extended hours on it, you'd see that that was the breakout level, and it's kind of gotten down there. I do think this has potential if we get a bounce play set up in it. Can really move, right? We've seen that. Hood, HOOD, is just kind of 4 days in a row down after the gap up, and it's getting down to, put that horizontal line there. I guess you got some more support. You got the 50-day down here. But anywhere in here, if this gets one of those intraday turns, we could have a setup. I'm not in love with that one. Akamai is a different kind of a bounce play that just may be overdone, right? Even though it's got that one nasty day down, instead of most of those bounce plays have several days pulling back. But if we go to the weekly on this one, so that's 3 years out, it did bounce back here off 70.65, and it's gotten from 100 down to 76 in a hurry. To me, that's a good setup for a potential snapback bounce even after 1 day, so we'll see. It's a little bit different than the other bounce plays, but pretty beaten up there. And then DraftKings, DKNG, had this really nice run, and now it's undone a lot of it, but it's back to the 20-day. So, and also this is kind of a breakout level. It's coming down to retest that. So it's an interesting area. I'm going to leave it at that, and I'll see everybody in pre-market on Monday. We'll work together and build a list of gappers to add to this list, and that's it. See you tomorrow.